I was standing in the doorway when she said it.
Trash.
That was her word for my father's watch box. Oak wood, hand-polished, smelled faintly of oil and old winters. She didn't even look up when she said it. She was scrolling, already somewhere else. My son needs cash, she added, like it explained everything. Not our son, hers, from before me. From a man who vanished and left debts behind. I'd been paying those debts quietly for years, believing that was what love looked like. The box was gone. The shelf was bare. A pale square of dust marked where it had lived longer than our marriage. I didn't shout. I didn't ask how much she got. I already knew the answer wouldn't matter. Something inside me folded neatly and locked itself. I remember when I first met her. She laughed with her whole body back then, leaned in when I spoke, touched my wrist like she was anchoring herself. I told her about my father on our third date, how he fixed watches because he liked controlling time, even if life refused to be controlled, how he left me those watches when he died. For when you need reminding, he'd written. She cried that night. Real tears, or maybe just well-practiced ones. I trusted her with that box because trust felt like a duty, like a promise to the man who raised me to believe carefully. The changes came slowly. A locked phone, a separate bank app, her calling our house mine instead of ours. She stopped asking about my day, stopped noticing when I stayed up late, going over numbers, contracts, documents that all carried my name. I always notice, the sale wasn't the betrayal. It was the contempt, the way she dismissed it. The way she spoke like my history was clutter and her urgency was law. I went to work the next morning like nothing had happened. I smiled at people who thought they knew me. I signed papers. I made calls. I kept my voice steady because anger wastes energy, and I needed all of mine. That afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. Sir, the man said, cautious, respectful. I bought a box of watches yesterday. One of them. There's an engraving inside the case. Not a serial. A message. My hand tightened around the phone. What does it say? I asked. It says, if you're reading this, go to the bank. Locker 317, ask for Miriam. Sir, you should come here right now. I drove without thinking. Muscle memory. The city blurred. The shop was small, quiet, run by a man who understood weight and silence. He handed me the watch with two hands, like an offering. I opened it. Dad's handwriting. Shaky near the end, familiar. Locker 317. Miriam remembered me. She smiled the way people do when they've been waiting for the right moment. Inside the locker was a slim folder. A key and a letter? He'd known. He always knew. He'd hidden something valuable inside the one watch he never wore. Shares, deeds, a contingency. Plan tied to my name alone. Not marital property. Not communal, mine. I didn't feel joy. I felt alignment. That night I started moving pieces. I froze accounts quietly. Consulted a lawyer who spoke in clean sentences and never wasted my time. I documented everything. The sale, the wording, the dismissal, the patterns of spending I'd ignored out of love and habit. I didn't confront her. I let her grow comfortable. Let her believe she'd won something. Comfort makes people sloppy. The execution took 3 weeks. Not dramatic, surgical. I rerouted income streams she thought were shared, filed notices she didn't read, scheduled meetings she didn't attend. When the papers came, they came all at once. She cried then. Real panic this time. Asked how I could do this to her. To her son. I looked at her and finally felt nothing pulling me back. You sold my father, I said. This is just accounting. The final confrontation happened in the living room. Same doorway. Same light. She held the watch box receipt like it was evidence of her own cleverness. I placed the watch on the table, opened it, let her read the engraving. Her face changed. Not anger, not sadness, fear. The pure kind. The kind that understands too late. You called it trash, I said calmly. Turns out it was a lock. She tried to speak. Tried to bargain. I stood up before she finished. Control isn't about volume. It's about timing. I left her with the consequences. The debts returned to their rightful owner. The house went on the market. The son went back to his father's family where he belonged. I kept what was mine. Not just the assets. The silence. Now when I wind that watch, I hear my father again. Steady, patient, always thinking 3 moves ahead. Betrayal taught me something love never did. Some people mistake kindness for blindness. I don't make that mistake anymore.